Winter is best. Yeah, but really, it's too much when it's minus 35 degrees Celsius. This is a kind of adventurous life. When it's too cold outside, you better just stay inside where it's nice and warm. Hi, my name is Kirikou, and when I'm comfortably at home, I like to read. You know, back in the days when there was no YouTube, no computers, and no television, there was already these things called books. And this is my bookshelf. I learned to read when I was 3 years old. This was a book I read very much when I was young. Sika ja tunteet. This book tells about the pig and his feelings. Here the pig is scared, and here the pig is shy. These books I haven't actually read yet. Here is the Lord of the Rings, and here's the Hobbit. I'm actually reading the Hobbit right now, and after that I'll be going on to the Lord of the Rings. Here are the Harry Potters that, of course, everybody knows. And I have to say, they are good books. And here is the Hogwarts Library, the extras for the Harry Potters. Here is Quidditch Through the Ages. This tells about Quidditch, and the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them tells about all kinds of mythical beasts. And the Tales of Beedle the Bard are fairy tales that are inside the world of Harry Potter. This is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've read the first 3 books, and then the 4th one my dad said that it was inappropriate. I think this was quite good, but confusing at the same time. This is like sci-fi comedy parody. It's even been made as a radio show. And here is a classic science fiction stories book. There are tons of sci-fi tales in this. And I really like sci-fi. And then here there are tons of Donald Ducks. Here's Finnish, here's English, here's Italian. And for example, this book tells about Huey, Dewey and Louie, which are in Italian qui, quo and qua. I know Italian so well that I can read Donald Duck. Ma non è tutto gratis. Gratis, dico avete voglia di scherzare. Here's some Donald Duck by Don Rosa, with even the signature. Here are 2 Finnish ABC books, and here are the 2 Paddingtons. I actually read them, 3 years ago? And I really liked them, so I read them 2 times. Here is a book that my father read me when I was 3, and then I read it myself again when I was 6, I think. The Wind in the Willows. I don't really remember the whole book. Here are famous 5 books, which I got as a Christmas present last year. I really recommend the famous 5. Here is Kalle Blomqvist, a book by Astrid Lindgren. Kalle Blomqvist is a detective that is 11 years old. In English, this is Bill Bergson. Here are the Moomin books. It is a book by Tuve Jansson, who is a Finnish lady. She created this fictional world where there is this Moomin family. They have adventures that changed their lives quite much. I have 6 Moomin books in my bookshelf. Now here is The Diary of the Wimpy Kid, which I also have in Italian. Diario di una schiappa. I read both of them with my father. This tells about a very wimpy kid that goes into middle school. These are very cartoonish because there are all these pictures with all speech bubbles. Here are the Winnie the Poohs. This is a book my dad read to me when I was 5 years old. These are poems by A.A. Milne. Here's a poem called Teddy Bear. A bear, however hard he tries, grows tubby without exercise. Our teddy bear is short and fat, which is not wondered at. He gets what exercise he can by falling off the ottoman, but generally he seems to lack the energy to clamber back. And this is Mort, which is a book by Terry Pratchett. This tells about Mort, a boy who becomes the apprentice of death. Here are books that I got from Tanzania. This tells about why the zebra got his stripes. And this tells why the hyena is always hungry. That tell traditional African stories about animals. Then on the upper shelf, here I have a book that has all kinds of paintings by Von Wright. I use these as a model to learn to draw. These are mostly paintings about the Finnish nature, mostly birds. And this is a book, Hajamielinen kissa, in English, Mog the Forgetful Cat. This was a book that my father really much liked to read when he was a kid. Now here is the Junior Encyclopedia. It's from the 70s, and there's a couple of things that are quite outdated. The yearbooks from my Italian school. This is a picture from the school play. I played a policeman. And here are 2 very classic books. This was an interesting book to me because I got it before we moved to Rome. Here is the Colosseum. We used to live just nearby it. Here is the Bocca della Verità, the mouth of truth. This is the Vatican. I know all these places really well because we lived 3 years in Rome. And this is the newest book I've got. This is a photograph book of me and my dad's Kind of Adventurous train trip through Europe in 2013. Here I am, ready to board the train for the first time. Here I am in Legoland, Germany. Here I am with the R2-D2 from Star Wars, a Lego version of it. I'm not a Lego version. This is a picture of a cow on the mountain. This was a brief glimpse to my bookshelf. Of course, I've read many other books, like borrowed from the library. And now, let me get back to reading The Hobbit. But before that, I need to tell you to remember to brush your teeth, do your homework, and read a lot. Thank you for watching.